Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to my Storm Totem Spriggan Shaman build guide video for Tombs of the Erased in Last Epoch. It's a very beginner-friendly starter setup that can clear up to Corruption 400 in very basic gear, with one exception. We need a unique relic called Stormcarved Testament. It's very build enabling here and is necessary to cast Storm Totem while in the shapeshift form. So, in-game on my character, this is the item I'm talking about, Stormcarved Testament. As far as I know, it drops from Lagon, from the timeline boss. And the clue about this item is it has a chance to summon a Storm Totem on hit. So all those Thorns Totems can proc it, but way more reliable to proc it is Spirit Thorns. Yeah, the rotation would be the following. I drop a few healing totems in order to consume them for a big Storm Totem. And I proc the Storm Totem with the Spirit Thorns. Pretty much the first thingy that hits them procs it. Most of the time. Other than that, I keep up a Thorns shield. Yeah, it clears screens pretty good. Really nice build. Storm Totem OP. Yeah, I try to when making this build, I try to keep the micromanagement low. So there's also not really a rotation other than dropping the heal totems and then the Storm Totem. But other than that, I could just spam my butt. It doesn't really matter. As long as I hit the Thorns shield now and then. It's a chill build. It's a chill build. And also this is limit testing. It's not the smartest thing to do to push to Corruption 400 in this gear, but I'm doing this on purpose. Because if I would show you, in quotes, starter build with like 2 LP gear, guess what? You know, hey, this ain't a starter build, you have crafted gear, so there it is, absolute basic gear. I'll show you our gear more in depth here after a second. After this boss fight. Highest difficulty arena. Of course, this is a level 99 character. But I think if I'm level 80 or level 90, it won't make or break the build, I guess. Let's defeat the Orobys real quick to pump up the corruption. Not the best bossing build. But it's alright. I'll check out the damage here in a corruption 400. Doable, but of course a little bit slow with these type of items. Also Maelstrom, it's not just here for stacking it up, it also deals a decent chunk of damage. But gotta be careful and decide when to engage in more melee range. If they stand in this aura, basically they take a decent amount of damage. But it's not always possible to be close up. They are a real challenge here on this difficulty. They pretty much just one-shot. Even though I have, I don't even know, almost 300 resistances. Thanks for the passive. After this, I'm going to show you the Skilltree real quick and the passive Skilltree. And it will make more sense why this is so tanky with so little items. So we went over the Testament. Now Tempest Maw. This is so OP for the build, for the flat spell lightning damage. And it summons these little storm sprites. They all scale up. These are minions, so it all scales up. Other than that, Death Rattle, I'm seeing this emanate on pretty much every minion build. Of course, for obvious reasons, minion damage, minion crit, like it's really, really strong. Just a good offensive piece. The only rage, like I have infinite rage, it's all good. I never transform back into human form. The only item I have is Legacy of the Quad Forest for rage regeneration. And yeah, that's enough. Sufficient enough. Other than that, my second weapon is this dagger here. It's a set, Orobys Boss. Gives 2 to all totem skills. Really, really strong. Speaking of plus skills, I have Phantom Grip here. 2 to all minion skills. Other than that, my armor and my helm, I mean, it is what it is. I have to work with the items I can afford on the bazaar or I find and drop. But I'm running the following here. I think a really important stat is crit multi while transformed. I have different helmets here that tested different things, but I always go back to this helmet just because of the crit multi while transformed. It's really, really strong. Other than that, health is super important for the build. I'm really on the low end here. 1800 dive. That's brave or stupid, depending on if one would play softcore or hardcore. The chest piece here. Oh, also, one more thing about the helm. Because plus skills would be neat either to Storm Totem. Yeah, probably to Storm Totem to reach even more damage nodes. But deeper into those damage nodes trees, more about that in a second here when I go over the Skilltree. The chest piece, it's whatever. If I haven't mentioned it already, attunement is the main skill for the build, main stat for the build, excuse me. So I went with a base with minion damage and attunement. Spell damage while transformed with multi maybe would be better, but the most important part is here 50% decreased health, more flat health, and that's how it goes. Yeah, of course, endless upgrade possibilities and also different combination of items. The important one is Stormcarved Testament and Tempest Maw. Everything else, I would argue, is pretty much up to you. Oh, of course, don't forget about the build. Those three things are important. The rest is, whatever. I've seen a lot of people who are playing this shield. Conveniently also drops from Lagon, so why not? If you drop it, give it a try. And it's because of the, in my case, 428% chance to shock attackers. This has to do with this node right here, Fulgurite Core. Storm Totem has additional spell damage based on your shock chance. So, you know what I mean? But I swear, I like this more. This is more burst damage. I clear Echo faster. Like, I don't get it. I don't get the shield. Maybe I'm missing something. And I have the feeling that I can't even... This doesn't even proc, you know what I mean? Like this on attack. And most of the time just avoiding getting hit. And I don't know, I don't like it. Me personally, I don't like it, but I wanted to mention it because it's a tech with the passive here. Other than that, gloves, I'm still using just epics with minion damage and a huge chunk of HP. But the best in slot gloves are those Yulra's Obsession. No stats on those gloves, but the last one, stats on this item also applies to your minions. So in a perfect world, I would have 3 LP, Yulra's gloves, and print crazy minion stats on there. GG. But it also requires to kill a tier 4 Yulra, because this is a level 75 item, so not really starter friendly, you know what I mean? Not specifically a starter type item, but probably best in slot glove, if crafted. Other than that, if someone would not like the set here, which I would highly recommend, it's really, really good. Let's go with a second Phantom Grip for +2. And a second Tempest Maw, or whatever plus skill, like this Butcher Cleaver, or as mentioned, the Shield. So there's a little bit of wiggle room, but me personally, I prefer this setup. And burst them with the staff, proc the totems, proc the Storm Totem, and then again, Mountain Endurance stacks. Oh, just add survivability. Also, 11 to all attributes, not too bad either. all this stuff needs to be crafted, of course, but I think this is an insane starter setup. Absolutely insane. If you play Bazaar like me, most of these items are for free. They cost only reputation. For my idols, they proc Maelstrom. So I'm at 2-3 stacks of Maelstrom all the time. That helps with reaching, like with 3 already, with 3 Maelstrom stacks already, I'm proccing this one, Power of the Storm. But I need 6 to gain haste and to gain rage. And when I start at 3 already, thanks to the idols, it's super easy to, you know, unlock all the other buffs. For the blessings, I always recommend the XP blessing. Here, crit multi is good. Crit strike avoidance to cap out, preferably. Minion damage. What else? Yeah, here, lightning damage is cool. How to scale up the damage for Storm Totem. I have a chance to shock. Like, chance to shock increases the lightning bolt damage. Other than that, I took every other node that says more increased multiplier and so on. Very important is this one, Thunder Totem. So it drops the big one instead of a little little Storm Totem. And it's absolutely insane damage, of course. Consumes healing totems, but they are basically for free. You can place many of them, so no problem whatsoever. It's really good. Depending on the plus skills on the gear, I would reach more nodes here for more damage, maybe. Could scale up the range of this. That's absolutely bonkers. But yeah, that's the way I've set it up right now. This is an important node. This is an important node. And making it a big one. Then, of course, the Spriggan form is, yeah, it's important for mechanic, for the Thorns healing totem shenanigans. Not only this, in my skill tree here, I invested a lot into Maelstrom procs. So the rapid fire gives stacks. When I use Thorns shield, I can gain stacks. I already start at 3 stacks because of the idols. Boom, boom, boom. Of course, I kill Maelstrom itself. That's how I get the haste proc and a frenzy proc. To make those stacks last longer, to have the buffs easier, I increase the duration. I reduce the mana cost of it. And yeah, it procs here Power of the Storm. While you have 6 or more stacks, you cast Storm Void. In my case here, it's 3 or more stacks, because I reduce the requirement by 3. Quick note on Growing Storm. I had this 5 out of 5, but it's just not worth it. 5 points here would give me only a 10% chance to gain a stack. And yeah, I already sit consistently in a boss fight at like 8 to 12 stacks. So this makes no difference. It's 5 wasted points in my humble opinion. I've tested it, and the build runs better this way. For me personally. Other than that, here, this one, a Terror's Blessing, it's absolutely broken, and it gets activated by just a Thorns shield, thanks to Rose Bloom. Other than that, it's hot healing over time. When it expires, it immediately heals me again. That's how that's how it works basically. So in certain situations, if I spam these, like, it's healing from the totems, it's the healing from this, it's infinite. I'm always topped on HP unless I get one shot. Like, it's so crazy. I myself was confused while leveling these skills up and so on. Like, I had 1600, 1700 HP, and I was just face tanking. Of course, the boss fight took a while. Like the Corruption 400 Echoe Boss content like this took a while to defeat. But I was just standing there, face taking a Corruption 400 boss. So the heal is insane, and that's why it works. Safeguard gives 25% all resist with the click of a button, and this in combination with the Shaman class gives 50% all resist. So it's super easy to get crit capped avoidance, to get endurance, because here it gets scaled up with maelstrom stacks. Like all the defense layers, it's very, very easy to get this. Only because it's a Shaman. Plus 75% resist from here. That's a really, really good tech. One of the best shenanigans I've seen from the builds I've played so far and from different classes. Of course, give it a little bit more efficiency. This is whatever. My thought process behind this, why I've spec'd into here, is from the Thorns. So even one skill in my bar is not a totem. That skill that's not a totem can proc a totem. The passive skill tree, of course, it's the primalist class, and I chose the Shaman to unlock the Storm Totem and nice perks like 10 attunement and 50% elemental resistance while in control of a totem. Quick note about this skill tree. Right now, it's a good balance between offense and defense. I tried a lot of different variants of this, and I settled with the following. First, the starter tree is just base stat, harmony of blades to dual wield, unlock some nice buffs, and some minion and totem damage. Then gaining access to the Shaman skill tree, more attunement and N, penetration, elemental penetration, 1 to Tempest form, just for the shock chance. And Silent Protector into Fate Carver for a massive boost to totem damage. More elemental penetration here for a lightning. Now more defense onto Protective Circle because I had 1 point left here. So when I hit level 100, I'm level 99 right now, my last point will go into here. And Swirling Maelstrom. So Maelstrom stacks increase my endurance threshold. So I like the mix between offense and defense here. If you wanted to try this and try a little bit different, those 5 points, I would take out those 5 points and put them either into Gift of the Skies to give the healing totems, and only the healing totems, because it says directly summon a totem. So it doesn't count for the good damage one. Only counts for the healing totems, but they would have frenzy all the time. Only lasts 3 seconds, but they get replaced non-stop. Hence, it would be all the time basically. Those 5 points have wiggle room. Either Gift of the Skies or shared spell damage. There are nodes to get to tickle more damage out of this passive skill tree. And I had that before. But yeah, then I get more susceptible to ripping. So right now it works with the low requirement of gear. If it would have had really good items, then the skill tree would probably look a little bit different and get rid of the defense and just go full ham on damage. But as of now, it needs a good balance between offense and defense. My remaining points in Druid skill tree, speaking of defense here, endurance, health, more elemental penetration while transformed. So right now with the scaling, it scales in increments of 5. If I would have exactly 4 more attunement, I would sit at exactly 30% elemental pen, and that's decent value. Remaining points into Druid powers here to also count not just overall defense, but to also negate the downside from here. Harmony of Blades, maxed out Urzine Strength for the damage taken from hero enemies, reduction, and 5 out of 5 Boar Heart.